Hello, friends. It's me again, Joseph, your host, and welcome back to Catechism for Kids. Today, we're going to talk about a man who had everything the world could offer: money, power, and fame, but chose something even greater. His name is Saint Francis Borgia, and his story is truly amazing. Imagine being a duke, living in a beautiful castle in Spain, serving the king and queen, and having a wonderful family. That was the life of Francis Borgia, who was born way back in 1510 into one of the most powerful families in Spain. He was even related to kings and a pope. From a young age, he was kind and good, but his family had big plans for him. They sent him to the royal court of Emperor Charles V at court. Francis was a star. He was smart, brave, and loyal. He even married a wonderful Portuguese noblewoman named Eleanor, and together they had 8 children. That's a big family. He became a duke at just 33 years old, and everyone looked up to him. But even with all this success, Francis was different. He was a true Christian gentleman. His greatest joy wasn't found in parties or power, but in receiving Jesus in Holy Communion. He knew that his relationship with God was the most important thing. Then, something happened that changed his life forever. The beautiful Empress Isabella, whom he had served and admired, passed away. It was Francis's job to escort her body to its final resting place in Granada. When they opened the casket for the final viewing, the sight was shocking. The once beautiful queen was now unrecognizable, and he saw that even the body of a queen turns to dust and decay. He realized that all the honors and riches of the world do not last forever, and all the glory and beauty of this world eventually fades away. But God's love, that lasts forever. This experience planted a seed in his heart, a desire for something eternal. He promised God that from then on, he would only serve a master who would never decay. A few years later, Francis's own beloved wife, Eleanor, passed away. His heart was broken. He had lost the love of his life. But in his grief, he remembered that powerful lesson. He decided to do something that shocked everyone in Spain. He, the great Duke of Gandia, decided to give up everything. He gave his title and all his riches to his oldest son, Charles, and announced he was going to become a priest in a new religious order called the Society of Jesus, or the Jesuits, which was founded by his friend, Saint Ignatius of Loyola. Can you imagine the buzz, a duke becoming a priest? So many people wanted to be at his first mass that they had to set up an altar outside. But life as a Jesuit wasn't glamorous. His superior wanted to test his humility. The man who once commanded armies and advised emperors was now assigned to the kitchen. He had to carry wood for the fire and sweep the floors. When he served meals to the other priests, he had to kneel before them and ask for forgiveness for being clumsy. But here's the incredible part. Francis never complained, not once. He accepted these humble tasks with a joyful heart. He knew that true greatness wasn't about being served, but about serving others, just like Jesus taught. The only time he ever got a little upset was when people treated him with the old respect he received as a duke. Once a doctor treating a painful wound said, "I'm afraid, my lord, that I have to hurt your grace." Francis replied that the doctor was hurting him more by calling him my lord and your grace than the wound ever could. He truly wanted to be known simply as Francis, servant of God, as the Bible says in Matthew chapter 6, verse 21. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Saint Francis Borgia's treasure was no longer on earth, it was in heaven. And because his heart was with God, he did incredible things. He traveled all over Spain and Portugal, preaching and advising everyone from the poor to the powerful. His wisdom and holiness were so great that the Pope even wanted to make him a cardinal. But Francis, in his humility, secretly left town to avoid the honor. He just wanted to serve. He helped found many colleges and spread the Jesuit Order far and wide. Eventually, he was elected the 3rd Superior General of the Jesuits, meaning he was the leader of the entire order. Under his guidance, the Jesuits sent missionaries all over the world, sharing the good news of Jesus Christ in many different lands. He helped grow the order and sent missionaries all over the world, but he always remained humble and focused on serving God. From a powerful duke to a humble priest, he showed that a heart given completely to God can change the world. Saint Francis Borgia passed away in Rome in 1572. He reminds us of a very important lesson. True happiness doesn't come from what we own or the titles we have. It comes from how much we love God and serve others. His life shows us that God can transform any heart that is searching for truth and love. He teaches us to choose heaven over the world, because God's love is the only treasure that will last forever. We can learn from him also that holiness can be found anywhere. Before becoming a priest, Francis was a good husband, father, and leader. He shows us that we can be holy wherever we are, whether at home, at school, or with our friends. And it's also important to be humble. Even though Francis was a duke, he was happy to do simple chores when he became a priest. He teaches us that a humble heart is more valuable to God than any fancy title. And lastly, Saint Francis Borgia teaches us to listen to God's call. God called Francis to serve him in a special way later in his life. The saint shows us that God can reveal his plan for us at any time, and we should always be ready to listen. So, this week, let's try to be a little more like Saint Francis Borgia. Let's find joy in helping others, whether it's at home or at school. And let's remember to keep our hearts focused on our greatest treasure, our friendship with Jesus. The Church celebrates Saint Francis Borgia's feast day on October 10th, and he is the patron saint against earthquakes, Portugal, Gandia, Rota Marianas. Thank you so much for joining us today on Catechism for Kids. We hope you were inspired by the story of this incredible saint. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure in faith. Take care, stay safe, and healthy. See you next time, and God bless you always.